Well, hey guys, I thought I'd just put this short video together just to show you one of my latest finds. I've just arrived home, and I've arrived home with this radio. This radio is a radio made by the Marconi company, which over here is rather popular, and it's from 1937. You should hopefully just be able to make out the Marconi emblem. From what I learned, each and every single one of those was hand painted. So that's rather exciting. It's got a bit of wear on the side of the globe. That's not too bad. There's only a little bit of surface wear on top. There's probably been a plant pot or other. The front, as you can see, you can't see the dial, but I'll explain that in a minute. We have all the original knobs, the volume, tuner, wave band, and then we have our tone control. And there's only a little bit of wear around where those knobs were turned, but I think that gives quite a bit of character. It shows that it was used, whereas there isn't so much wear here. So obviously the wave band switch wasn't used very often. It has brass speaker grill rather than cloth, so that's easier to maintain. I think I might just leave it with this patina. You can see some of the light on it. It does have still a bit of a shine. Now the reason we can't see this dial is because the Marconi company done something I thought was rather neat. They made luminous dials, which meant they only showed up when the light shone through them. You can barely make out the needle pointer on the station channels there. Now obviously this radio isn't fit for plugging in. It's original condition. It's never had work done. I've already had a quick look, and there hasn't been any modern changes to this radio. So it's a complete untouched set, which is rather exciting. And when the light comes on, it glows a red-orange colour, and the station channels will be there. I'm going to hopefully shine a torch through and see if that lights up some of it. No promises, but another thing I've already found, you can just see in the corner there, that says medium wave. When I change the waveband switch, it changes that in the dial. So short wave, medium wave, long wave. So it's run by almost like a bicycle chain type mechanism. As I turn this, it changes that on the dial. And another thing we can't see, on the other side there's another moon cut shape there, and that's for magic eye tuning, a tuning indicator. So I obviously don't know if that's in working condition, but from what I've read, they don't seem to do too well. But the front is a surface scratch there, but I'll be able to repair that. The original finish is staying on this. It's really good condition. It would be foolish to try and recreate it modernly. All we need to do is touch up these marks which require it. So if you give me a moment, I'll spin the radio down and around. The problem with it is it weighs 40 pounds, this set, so moving it's rather difficult. So if you hold on a second, I'll turn it round, then I'll bring these back on. And here's the inside of the set, in remarkably good condition also. It's got all its original gold paint, and the chassis, which I'm not planning on doing a full restoration on this. I think it's in good enough condition considering its age. You can see the speaker it uses there, which is, I can assure you, very large. It's probably close to 8 or 9 or 10 inches from left to right, up and down at least a good 6 or 7, so it's quite an impressive speaker, and original to the set also. This is completely original. The only modification I've found, which I think is a modification, is that instead inside you can see a large bayonet bulb that you'd use in the house. Well, that seems to be what would light the dial. So instead of the bulb that was in there, that was fitted, I'm guessing. I may be wrong. I've not done enough research to find out, but it doesn't appear to be factory. But I think it's a better and easier thing to change over, because from what I heard, sourcing the light bulbs for these is rather difficult. That's the mains transformer there, and it had the option of 195 to 223 volts, rather unusual numbers, or 224 to 250 I think. So that was the voltage selector. You just moved this one. I think it actually has that small brass pin on that says voltage adjustment on the wire. Another nice original thing. Obviously the tube shield covers, all the tubes are in this radio. If they're the right ones, well, we'll find out eventually. Phono input, external speaker, aerial and earth. And this particular radio has got a couple of these emblems all over. See if I can. It's Young's Glasgow, 40 Stockwell, so this must have been where this radio was sold. I live closer to Edinburgh, so that's quite a bit away from where I am. And also on the other side it has its model number 559 and serial number. As I've already probably mentioned, this is made in 1937 to 38. It was done for 1 or 2 years running. There's not that many around, so when I found it I jumped at the chance. It uses some older valves. The only thing I can see which scares me is this tube in the... I can't let you guys see it, but it has a which appears to be vintage tape wrapped around as if the globes went loose. I've either got to find, I don't know if that's a rectifier or if the one on the far side's a rectifier, but if it's a rectifier I'll probably end up getting a replacement anyway. That's the Magic Eye tuner, which appears a little burnt out. It doesn't look too good, but I may be wrong. We'll test these things. And our coil covers, our variable tuning capacitor, our IF cans. Just a really tidy radio. I like the layout, how it was all easily accessible, and as I mentioned, it's a very heavy radio. I've yet to see underneath the chassis, but it does have a service door underneath, which means the service door can be opened and it saves me having to pull the chassis out. Obviously when I come to restore this I will pull the chassis out. But before we go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shine light in the back of this radio and see if we can get that dial to light up. Well, despite my best efforts to try and get the entire dial lit, I've only managed to get 1/2 lit. Because access to the other side is rather difficult to get in with my flashlight. Obviously when the dial's lit up it'll have the bulb in the centre and the light will come out from there, but I think this kind of shows what the dial looks like. The other side will follow the same pattern, just different stations. And I'll just let you guys see some of the stations on it. Funnily enough, you can see the Eiffel Tower there. There's Dublin in Ireland, Aberdeen. Aberdeen's a town which is rather close to us, perhaps a 30-40 minute drive. There's Bordeaux, Copenhagen. These are just some of the stations, folks. There's a lot more. Brussels. Midlands, which is where we are. Scottish, London, Berlin. I can't see what quite make out what's on the other side, but I suppose there'll be a few other continental stations. Medium wave's normally in the centre, so that'll be centre. Long wave will be picking up other stations, of course, also. So it's. Hope this just gives you guys an idea what it looks like. It almost shows the Magic Eye tuner a little easier, just in the corner. Again, we'll wait and see how this all works. But I hope that clears up how the dial look, because a lot of people would have thought that that was just dust inside there, but it's rather unusual when the radio's turned off, it's just grey, you don't see a single thing. There's also, I just noticed, some channels written in red, which are rather difficult for me to read. But you guys get the idea. If you're interested in looking up the model, as I've said, it's a Marconi model 55-9, and it was made from 1937 to 1938. This one was made in 1937 because there's a small piece of paper on the base of this chassis. Not the base of the chassis, but next to it in the cabinet, which is marked 37, so I know that straight away. Nice little bit of history for it. Moving on from this, those of you who have been watching my ultra-electric restoration, I am hoping to get part 5 up in the next few days. If you've watched part 4, you'll know I was away for 2 weeks on vacation, so instantly that puts a delay on things. However, I do hope to get it up in the next couple of days, and if you guys keep an eye out, you'll no doubt see it.